Well, I knew I wasn't meant to be a full-time YouTuber, and that's why I never will be, because I just finished putting together this 33-minute Kokomo video for you guys to watch and suffer through with me. And the power flickered literally after I hit stop recording, and the video was done. Like 3 seconds later, the power flickered, and now the video won't load. So we're just going to try and redo this one and cut out a lot of the nonsense. Um, Most of it I was just babbling on anyway. You guys know how I am anyway. So, yeah. So, quick rundown of the points here. We just talked about Cedar Lake in the last video. You know, how an extra 15 points there might have been pretty good. And it didn't pan out. Started 6th and dropped to 14th. And then had a really good car at Kokomo. The complete opposite of the Cedar Lake race. Was awful in the heat race and awful in the B main, and then put together a really good setup that I had liked for, you know, all week really when it got slick, and it paid off. You know, it was really, really good. Was starting 20th in the feature, dead last, and by lap 7 was up to 14th, and a restart after a caution kind of made it all downhill. So another, you know, that's another probably potentially 15, 20 extra points that we missed out on, and we'd be really close to this 15th final lock-in spot. So just terrible luck lately. And my power flickering and restarted my PC is the icing on the cake for that. So we're going to try and shorten this one up a bit. 33 points back right now of this 15th and final transfer spot into next year's Pro Series. It's going to take a lot. Williams Grove and Charlotte coming up. These guys either got to miss features, or I've got to finish quite a ways out in front of them to really gain some points on them. And we'll see how it goes. Williams Grove, it's a pretty decent track for me. Not early. It's kind of like Kokomo was for me. Like, I'm not very good. Well, I'll just say this. For some reason, I am awful when it's tacky anymore. And I cannot figure out why. But when it slicks off, like I feel like I'm competing again, you know, like I'm up there and can you know, can kind of compete and hang with guys. You know, I'm a tenth or two slower than the Bergerons and the Cardwells of the world, but with most of the rest of the field, like when it gets slicked off, like I feel like I can run pretty similar lap times. But just haven't had the luck. The heat race here at Kokomo was really, really bad. Go take a quick peek at that. Just kind of fast forward to here. I got impatient in this heat race. That's really what happened. Wheeler and Mason really throwing these freaking heavy sliders on each other, kept having me check up. So then I figured, well, let me try one. And then I was like, that's a bad idea. And the wind was blowing 14 miles an hour. Where's it at? Yeah. 14 miles an hour this way across the track, and it just spun me out. And, which kind of really cost me in the end, because Zane is up here in 6th, and Gao and Mason, or Gao really, wrecks and then collects Mason on the final lap, and which allows Zane to pick up the 2 spots and transfer straight in. I had to run the second B main, and you know, kind of got lucky in that as well. So they wreck right there, and you know, that's all she wrote. Gao just got up on the wall and broke it, and then spun down in front of Mason, who's trying to avoid him, and then Gao just gasses up right in front of him. That's a 4X. And Mason able to get it back on the 4 wheels to finish in 6th, which actually was really good for him because he started right behind me in the B main, so he was able to get a good launch and actually took the lead. What the hell? Took the lead from me on lap 3 or something like that. So we got a pretty good launch here on the start, and run the middle for a minute and then go up to the top. And I like the top for pretty much the whole way. And then these guys wreck here on this lap. All these purple cars get just in a log jam. Boom. And Greg kind of makes it through there. you know, probably not that much damage, honestly, because it looked like most of it he kind of was able to get through. I don't know how the rear end didn't like snap on the wall and stuff or get shoved into the car. But he runs down AJ here, and then where's it at? Where am I at? Right here. I was running the top, running the top, running the top, and then I realized, well, we're almost halfway through, and we have, I think there was like a 1.8 second gap or something like that. And I realized, they must have crashed. So, and then we came around the next lap and saw all these cars parked on pit road. And I was like, oh, okay, they did crash. So we got a pretty good gap. So now I'm just going to follow Mason, and hopefully nobody catches us. And that's basically kind of what happened. AJ was running the middle as well. Greg really fast on the top, though, and was able to track me down, but just ran out of laps. If this was any longer of a race, I would have been screwed because I was playing it way too safe. I probably should have stayed on the top, to run optimal laps and optimal line, but cars didn't feel great. And then we went in and made changes. Even after last week, I told myself, after what I did at Cedar Lake, I'll never do that again. But this setup I had actually used a little bit and was comfortable on it. It wasn't like the Cedar Lake one where I had never used. And this one I had actually been using a little bit during the week. So I knew what it felt like in the slick and stuff. So Braden actually transferred through the first B main and he started on my inside. And the whole plan here was just follow him to the, as far up as I could. And Tyler getting mad at somebody there for hitting him, I think. And just try and basically tie a rope around his push bar there on the back and connect it to my front wing there and pull me to the front. And plan was going okay here for a minute. Had to check up behind Rumsey there, but was like, well, there's no real reason to leave my line in 1 and 2. Here's a point where I got pretty scared going into this corner. There's 4 cars, all just ready to crash. Really, if it's any other series, but these guys did a good job staying off each other and not dying. This was me just trying to leave myself an out. I had been running up a little bit higher in 3 and 4 previously, and I could see these guys on my other monitor as we were catching them, and I figured if they're going to wreck, they're going to shoot up to the wall and absolutely cream anybody who's out there. So wanted to leave myself at least a couple lanes to duck under or skirt through, and it didn't happen. We go right back up to the top. A little bit of checking up again, and car's feeling fine. I can put it through the middle here and be decent. I can run it on the top in 1 and 2 and be decent. And Braden's pulling away from me a little bit, so I'm thinking, well, now I guess I'm on my own. And we get lucky here on one of these laps. I think it's coming up on this lap, maybe? Yeah, so this one kind of surprised me here, because Rumsey was running along the top with me in 1 and 2. And I don't know if he saw Brett sliding out here thinking, like, okay, he's going to pull up in front to run the top now. He wants to get in there. I'm going to try and cut under him and get this spot. But Brett doesn't. Brett had ran this middle line the whole time. And Rumsey kind of puts himself, in a difficult spot. Doesn't have a run on him now to clear up and get back to the top. So he's got to go for the slider here, and they kind of just meet in the middle looking for the same point of moisture right here. And Brett comes off the cushion, and Rumsey's trying to get to it. And they just make a little bit of contact, and it spins Rumsey, and I just shoot the gap and get both those spots. And the caution comes out, and I'm thinking, okay, finally, like I can run 1 and 2 and not have to check up anymore, and I can run it in there as fast as I want to now that, Rumsey's not right there in front of me going up there, and then, Braden's still up there. I know he's fine. He's fast enough. Again, he's right in front of me. Let's just go back to the plan. Follow him to the front, and disaster strikes on the restart. So we get lined up here. Everybody does a pretty good job staying bunched up, except for the 98 of Tim Ryan, who, for some odd reason, wants to leave a 3-car length gap between him and the guys in front of him, and then speed up as we get into the corner. And what that does is force everybody else Now to cut down earlier. Oh my God, Far Chase, where are you? So now everybody behind him has to cut down earlier than they would have had we been lined up and bunched up. So what happens here is LB gets in the back of Tyler because Tyler's kind of still in a spot where he can turn down up higher off the cushion and get the straight run out of 4 like these guys got. It's a little bit tighter of a turn, but he's still far enough up there where he can follow these tire tracks and try and do it. But LB, Simmelman, JD, Braden, and myself, we're all at the point now where, okay, well, we can't really get that high up because now the guy on our inside is going to have a huge run. So we've all got to turn down earlier. And that's what happens here. LB just turns down sooner than Tyler does. And Tyler doesn't get the greatest start. And LB tags him a little bit and then tags him again. And boom. There goes all the power we had in the car for some reason. Take a quick look at it from the cockpit view in full speed. At this point, I just wanted to cry. It's just so many weeks of bad luck and bad driving, terrible setups for when there's tackiness on the track. And finally got to a feature with a setup I liked, and it was getting slick to where I felt real comfortable being able to keep up with the guys in front of me and pass some cars. We were up to 14th after 7 laps from 20th. And then just trying to follow Braden here again. And then these cars are just in a perfect line where it looks fine to me. Like, all I can really see is JD and Braden in the heat of the moment. And everybody looks like, okay, we're good. We're good. We're going to hit this moisture down here and we'll be able to shoot up to the top where we want to be. And not really what happened. They all stack up and we're hard on the brakes. In hindsight, I probably should have just got out of the throttle a little bit and turned it hard right. And on the brakes and the car just sliding, kind of lock-up situation. And not able to steer clear of LB. And just didn't seem that hard of a hit. I mean, I guess it kind of was. I'm going... How fast am I going? 40... Almost 50 miles an hour at point of contact. Yeah, about 45. So, pretty hard impact. Lost some power, it seemed like, in the motor. Definitely messed up the left front. It's a little bit pushed backwards here. And because I came to a stop, I lost all my spots on that restart. Had to start at the back of the field. Which was fine eventually, because once we go back green, I realized I didn't think the car was that beat up. Honestly, I was like, damn it, now I got a messed up front wing. It's going to mess the car up a little bit. And then all these cars, I was faster than these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars I was just faster than. All of a sudden, I can't even come close to keeping up with them. So, knew the car was pretty much gone at this point, and it's just a game of trying to farm safety rating. And eventually just become a lap car because I just can't, get up to speed, really. Some point here, I realize Alex is on my butt, and I try not to look at my relative too often. Like, I'm so focused on the stuff in front of me. Right there, I got really scared because car inside call, I think, right here, and I knew it couldn't have been Mason. And then I looked real quick up, and I was like, oh, crap, that's Alex. So try to get out of his way as fast as I could. I noticed he was still running in the middle there, so got plenty of run out of the corner, so I figured if he's running in the middle, maybe I could just stay up out of his way. He'll pass me eventually. And then I realized it was time here, like, to get out of the way. There's a big enough gap, and then Mason comes and parks it on him, and he has to try it all over again. And Mason realizes eventually, too, he gets out of his way here and as soon as he can. And I think he hits the wall or something, and then he's like, all right, let me get out of the way. So he rubs the wall and just gets out of the gas and lets Alex go. By that time, Hayden had caught up quite a bit. Alex had a huge lead in this, and then Hayden was able to run him down. And no real point to show what me and Mason got going on here. We're just battling for last. I do want to speed up to the last caution here because... where's it at? Where's Zane? Zane kind of steps on it on one of these laps, and right there just spins out and then comes down into the line that Rumsey's running and gets spun around right in front of Alex. And Alex, really with nothing else he could do, just keeping his foot in it, like he's probably 100% full throttle there, just trying not to come to a stop. And it works. You know, he doesn't come to a stop. The Smolder's able to get out of the way. Zane's flipped over and he's out of the way. So Alex gets all his spots back and gets to restart out front. But, you know, kind of the same situation as my car. Like the front end, he tagged it. He didn't tag it too hard, but he messed up that front wing. So you know he's got some damage up there. And eventually he's just not able to hold off Hayden. Hayden finds a hole here somewhere and able to slide him. And then they just battle back and forth. Hayden trying to cover this slider line back. It opens up, just beating and banging. And then I think he holds him off here. Meanwhile, Edens is running the top and gets a good run. And right here, I think Edens wins the race if he just carries this momentum to this line here and runs the top. But this is his buddy and his teammate Hayden on his outside. So you don't really want to go park up in front of that guy battling for a points championship. And he kind of just lets him have the top and stays out of his way and, you know, loses his shot at $500 in a pro race win. But, you know, I guess helping out a buddy here. And then he kind of pulls up in front of Alex and kind of sets the block for Hayden. And really that's all Hayden needed. You know, he's gone from there. So Alex with a lot of damage on this car is struggling to keep it off the wall and stuff. Battling for third here, and then Tyler gets a good run, able to get up in front of him. Alex with a great run out of 4 here to get basically to his tail tank coming into this corner. Finds the good line, the good dirt here, able to get up in front of Tyler. And then for some reason, he doesn't cover that line again. If he had run the line that Hayden ran when he caught them and ran that line, I think he holds on to third easily. Might have even like been able to slide for second. Basically what Tyler does here, I think he might have been able to do to Edens. But Tyler out here racing for money at this point. He knows he's not really in the championship run. Final lap, world championship race. Clears himself up and gets, what, like $100 for third or something. Gets on the podium. And I think that's his best finish in a pro race. After last week of flipping out of the park at Cedar Lake. So able to get some of his confidence back going into a super track Williams Grove next week. And yeah, really good race out front. Not much to show at the back. Where are we at? Yeah, just riding along, trying to gain some safety rating. Cars beat to hell after one little incident. And completely changed my whole event, really. That's, like I said in the last video, that's why it took so long to even do these. Because I'm just so frustrated after the past couple weeks. And no one's fault but my own at Cedar Lake. And then guys just trying to play games on the restart here at Kokomo, and it cost me pretty big. So sucky situation to be caught up in, but yeah. I'm definitely going to make this one shorter just in case the power flickers again. But I think I definitely had a car to be right here hanging on to the back bumper of Braden. You know, maybe a top 8, top 9 type of car, and maybe get lucky and get a couple spots from some of these guys running this bottom. But the car was fine, you know. I mean, those first 7 laps I think showed that how much I had to lift and get out of the gas to really not get into these guys that were in front of me. But you know, playing games on restarts again, and it costs the rest of the field instead of the guy that's playing the games. So, yeah, like there's stuff in the rule book that says, you know, that's worth a incident or whatever, but I don't even know if the incident report's out for this one yet, so we'll have to take a look and see. But just kind of real frustrating, sucky way to basically end a race on lap 8 after passing 6 cars in the first 7 laps, and just get it stripped away really early on like that kind of just deflates the rest of the race and the rest of the week, really, because now I got to wait a whole week to try and bounce back at Williams Grove. And like I said, just missed out on points here. 33 back of this 15th spot. Back-to-back weeks where I missed out on points that if I wasn't playing stupid games at Cedar Lake with setups, and if I don't get caught up in other people's mess at Kokomo, we're either in that 15th spot or we're pretty freaking close sitting in 16th. So if you've got any luck, send it my way, because I'm going to need it at Williams Grove and Charlotte. Haven't been great at the half miles this year. Week 1 was awful at Volusia in the feature. Week 2 was like the dead last car at Knoxville. Fairbury had a really good car, kind of like Kokomo, just really good car. Just things out of my control, just right in my way, and stuff happening that I can't avoid. And that's kind of my small track summary of this season that we've had so far. So Eldora, I was okay. Not great, but Lernerville wasn't any good. Weedsport wasn't any good. Cedar Lake made the feature, but wasn't any good. Then Kokomo wasn't any good early on, and then put together a pretty ripping set for the feature. Felt great. Had a lot of confidence after the first 5-6 laps, and then just so. Don't want to talk too much at the end of this one for no reason, but I appreciate you guys subscribing and liking the videos and leaving comments and stuff. Allows me to go back and and have conversations with you guys, and makes me feel good knowing that you guys are watching, even though some of these reviews have sucked and there's not much going on in them. And yeah, just like I said, if you got any luck for Williams Grove and Charlotte, send it my way, because 33 points out of a lock-in spot right now, and it would be really, really nice to not have to go through those qualifiers again next year. So, again, appreciate everything that you guys have done, watching live and stuff like that. We've had really good viewer counts for the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/shapes, when I'm here on Monday nights running these races. And 24 hours from now, we'll be live again for Williams Grove, week 9, 2 weeks ago. Lot of big gap to make up here, but I think I can. I still have confidence. Williams Grove is, one of my better, bigger tracks once it gets slick. Charlotte, I feel like I can run pretty well at the beginning and lock myself in, and then hopefully find something for the feature in those bumps, and something I've always struggled with. So, but week in, week out, after those Weedsport and Lernerville races, I felt like I've done really good earlier than I was at the beginning of the season. I was just kind of squeaking into the features, really. And then Kokomo, that was kind of a turning point for me. Knowing that this new setup stuff I've been trying to build is really working. And I think it's going to pay off, hopefully, in these last 2 weeks. So stay tuned. Appreciate all of you guys, and take care. Stay healthy. All this stuff's still going around, so I know race season's opening up for a lot of people, and I hopefully get out to the real track here pretty soon. So I know a few of you that are pretty near to me, I guess, over here in California, that might travel around to different tracks and stuff, maybe Tulare and Hanford and stuff. We might be able to catch some races in the seats together sometime. But again, appreciate all of you. Take care, guys.